Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Jammed. Today's episode is something that's been on my mind heavy lately. It's all about loyalty. But if we're being more specific, it's about what to do when loyalty is not there. Because we all love talking about loyalty. Everybody wants loyal friends, loyal partners, a loyal family, a loyal business partner. Loyalty is one of those values that almost everyone claims to have. But the real conversation isn't just about loyalty. The real conversation is about how you respond when someone shows you that they're disloyal. And today's message is simple. Treat loyalty with love and treat disloyalty with distance. Now, if you know anything about hip-hop, that's a quote from Kevin Gates. And when I first heard him say that, it stuck with me because it's simple but powerful. A lot of us struggle with the second half of that quote. Enjoy the show. Now let's talk about why disloyalty triggers us. When someone betrays you, lies to you, talks about you behind your back, or switches up on you when it benefits them, your natural reaction is emotion. You feel anger, you feel hurt, you feel disrespected, and sometimes those emotions push us to react in ways that are completely out of character. You might argue with someone you normally wouldn't argue with, say things you normally wouldn't say, seek revenge, try to prove a point, or you keep going back and forth with someone who's already showed you who they are. And the crazy part about that, now you're the one that's acting out of character. The person who was disloyal may have already accepted who they are, but now you're letting their behavior pull you out of your peace, your values, and your discipline. And that's why distance is important, because distance protects who you are. A lot of people think distance means you're weak. Like if someone disrespects you, you have to confront them, argue with them, check them, or get even. But real maturity teaches you something different. Sometimes the most powerful response is less access. Not an argument, not revenge, just distance. Distance from your time, distance from your energy, distance from your presence. Because your presence is valuable. Your attention is valuable. Your peace is valuable. And if someone proves they can't handle those things responsibly, the solution isn't always a dramatic confrontation. Sometimes the solution is simply removal. Now let's be honest. A lot of people know someone is disloyal and they still keep them around. Ask yourself why. Sometimes it's history. Man, we've been friends for a lot of years. Sometimes it's comfort. That's just how they are. I've been around them so long, that's just how they are. Sometimes it's fear of conflict, or sometimes it's the hope that the people will magically change. But here's the truth. A lot of people learn the hard way. Loyal people give second chances. Disloyal people abuse them. And if someone repeatedly shows you that they can't be trusted, staying close to them usually doesn't fix the situation. It usually just creates more opportunities for disappointment. That's why distance isn't punishment. Distance is protection. Now let's flip this conversation for a second, because the quote isn't just about disloyalty. It starts with something important. Treat loyalty with love. Sometimes we get so focused on people who did us wrong that we forget to appreciate the people who never did. The ones who check in on you, support you, celebrate your wins, defend your name when you're not in the room, and stay solid even when things get difficult. Those people deserve love, respect, and appreciation. Real loyalty is rare, and when you find it, you shouldn't take it for granted. You should invest in it. Pour into those relationships. Protect them. Grow with them. Because loyal people are the ones who stand with you when life isn't easy. Now let's go back to something we mentioned earlier. If you don't create distance from disloyal people, eventually you may start acting like someone you don't even recognize. You might become bitter. You might become reactive. You might start moving with the same negativity that you're trying to avoid. And that's the trap. Because when someone betrays you, the real test isn't how you're going to respond to them. The real test is whether you can protect your character. Distance helps with that. Distance gives you time to think. Distance keeps you from reacting emotionally. Distance keeps you from making decisions that you might regret later. And most importantly, distance keeps your peace intact. One thing that people don't talk enough about is quiet boundaries. Not every boundary needs a big announcement. You don't always have to explain yourself. You don't always have to argue your point. Sometimes the boundary simply looks like less conversation, less time together, less access to your life. You still remain respectful, you still remain mature, but you move differently because now you understand who someone truly is. So if you take one thing from this episode today, let it be this: treat loyalty with love and treat disloyalty with distance. The quote from Kevin Gates is simple, but it can save you from a lot of unnecessary stress, drama, and emotional damage. You don't have to fight every battle. You don't have to prove every point. And you definitely don't have to stay close to people who constantly show you that they don't value loyalty the way that you do. Protect your peace, protect your character, and invest your energy in people who actually deserve it. If not, you may be jammed. Thanks for listening.